All right, so here we are gonna do a live auction draft. So there's different formats of drafting. There's the snake draft or a standard draft, and then there's auction drafting. There's also a few others like offline drafting where you get together with your buddies and you choose. Generally, that's a standard draft. So here, what an auction draft is you're given an allotment of dollars. It's play money. You don't actually have to put any money in there. It's just money used for this format. So let's take a look. Just make sure you can see my mouse. Let's take a look right here. You can see the dollar amounts listed for each player. Let me make this full screen for you. Sorry about that. So you can see the dollar amounts listed right here. $200 is pretty standard for a starting dollar amount for an auction draft. I've seen some that are $6, some that are $100, some $600, some $100. And so what happens here, and I'll walk you through it as it happens, you have an allotment of money, and then the order in which you are chosen here has a lot less to do than it does with the standard draft. All that you're doing when it's your turn is choosing the next player that's being auctioned off, that's being bid on. So there is some strategy to that. A lot of times you'll see me here I'll make sure to show you a couple of my draft picks here. Some of these, a good strategy can be to throw middle-ish players, middle-tier players up early in the draft. That way people have lots of money and they usually get overbid on, which the less money that other people have, the better off you are for getting the players you really want. The goal here is to try to get the best team you can without blowing all your money right out of the gates so that you get nothing left at the end, or having some left over at the end. The worst thing you can do is have money left over at the end, because it does nothing for you. You just didn't get to use it to get the players you wanted. And so you'll have these little bidding wars that go back and forth for these players, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's harder to find people that want to do an auction draft, just because it's a little more challenging. It takes longer. Imagine every single player you have to have a bidding war on. And so the draft itself can take a significant amount of time. We're talking, 2 hours or so for one draft. But it makes it a lot of fun because if you're good at it, you can get a really high caliber team. Whereas with a normal snake draft, you wouldn't. All those players would get taken. And so there is a couple different strategies. Some people just blow everything at the very beginning to get 2 or 3 superstars, which normally you can't do that because in a regular draft, you only get 1 first-round pick. But here, if you were to spend, say, $80 or $90 and $80 or $90 on 2 different guys, now you just got 2 first-round picks. And so you'll see some of these bigger players go up in the $70s and $80. So you really, and it's hard to pull the trigger on those ones, but you also don't want to get stuck with no superstars. You don't want to get stuck with a mediocre team that just is, no one's going to win a Super Bowl having no superstars on their team. So just make sure that you're, I'll walk you through my strategy here. I'm not the greatest. I'm not, touting the best at auction drafting. I did a few of them last year. I love the format. They're a lot of fun. I don't do a lot of mock auction drafts because, again, it's hard to find people to auction draft in a non-real scenario. So you get a lot of the bots, and the bots are terrible at drafting, and it's not similar to a real-life scenario at all. So it really doesn't help you other than understanding the format. So we'll wait this next 5 minutes, and you'll see how we get started, and I'll walk you through step by step. All right, 20 seconds. Here we go. It's just about time to start our first draft, or our first individual in this auction draft. Here we go. So the system will force you to maintain enough money to fill your roster. It will. It won't let you spend so much money. It saves $1 for each position you have left. So I can only do a maximum of $185 bid because I have 15 spots necessary to fill. David Johnson is going to be an absolute monster. I'm willing to go up to $60 for him, maybe $70. But he's absolutely out of control. I'm going to get him for 68. That's a steal. Oh. All right, I'm gonna let him go for 70. I'm not gonna jump in there anymore. That is too rich for my blood. Steel City now has to pick someone. So I'm gonna pick someone that I don't much care for, that people tend to bid on. There's Zeke. His trial appeal still isn't done, so there's still a chance that he's going to be suspended for 6 weeks. For $45, I'm willing to take that risk. I'll go up to 50 on him. Sometimes I'll even put a bid in for an individual that I do really like, but a lower range guy, because sometimes you can get a steal on them if people are trying to save their money for larger picks. So sometimes I'll do that, like Isaiah Crowell. I think he's going to do great. I'm not too hot on Joe Mixon. There's a few other ones that I just don't care for. And sometimes I'll even throw kickers in there, because kickers will go for a decent amount early. So here's someone's doing that same thing. They're bidding Marshawn Lynch, kind of a middle of the pack running back right now, to see what people are willing to spend on him this early. And a good idea, I haven't created one. I was actually Googling it to see if I can find one online. But it's a good idea to create a price list where you put a price on every player that you plan on bidding on. Because then when they get posted, you at least have an idea of what you're willing to spend on it. And if you can get a better price than what you have it listed for, then you had a great deal. And so it's a good idea to maintain a price list during these auction drafts. Then that gives you an idea of what to spend, what not to spend, when to hold, when to pull the trigger. Again, sometimes you want to bid higher than you might think if you're running out of superstars. So like David Johnson and Ezekiel Elliott are already gone. And you also want to be careful not to let any of these people have multiple fantastic players. You can get yourself in big trouble that way. Because if someone walks away with 3 superstars, yeah, good luck beating them. There's also kind of a scary game you can play where you try to drive prices up, even if you don't want them. The problem is sometimes people just let you have them. But you can try to squeeze more money out of people's pockets by driving the price up while they're bidding. So you see someone who really wants it, and they just keep clicking and clicking and clicking. You can use this little guy here to drive the price up more than $1, or you can use this guy here to add $1. And so on my price list I found Jordan Howard is going for $43, which seems like a steal to me. I'll take him for 40 if I can get him. He's a rock star. That is easily a first-round draft pick. I'll take. Oh, darn it! Thought I had him for 41. I'll take him for 45. Awesome. $45 for a first-round draft pick running back. I'll take that all day long. I would love to have Le'Veon Bell too. I bet you Le'Veon Bell's going to go for 70-something, up there with David Johnson. I would like to pick up another $30 to $40 running back. That would be my ideal situation. Yes, he's already at 61. All right, so now we got to find who we are going to post when it's our turn. See, he's going for 71. We haven't even hit the 10-second timer yet. Wow, he's going to go for more than David Johnson. Look at that, 75. That is a lot of money. All right. Aaron Rodgers. I'm not big on drafting quarterbacks in for anything above $10. I might go 15. No, it's already above that. The spreadsheet says $32, but man, there are so many good quarterbacks right now. I can get a killer quarterback like Marcus Mariota or Matthew Stafford or Derek Carr or Phillip Rivers. I can get them for probably under $5. And so I'd rather save my money for someone who's in a position that costs a little bit more, so I can really up those, the value of those. All right, so my draft is next, my pick. So I'll show you that one, and then we'll fast forward to the next time that I pick, so that you're not waiting the whole time. I just want to give you a feel for what an auction draft's like. Go out there and give them a shot. The only time you're gonna act, or the only way you're gonna get good at it is by practicing. So go out there, join a few auction leagues, and do some mock drafts. I found that Yahoo.com has a lot more individuals actually drafting in the mock drafts. So if you do it on Yahoo, you'll get a better opportunity to see what a real auction draft is like. You'll generally get full mock drafts with real people, and so, but it only usually lasts like a whole round or 2 rounds with people staying in there. But give those a shot. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and auction drafting is a totally different way to do this.
Your team is now on the clock.
So I just picked Martellus Bennett. I decided I want to try to get him early. I think a lot of people are going to let him go for fairly cheap. If not, then I'll let them spend their money quickly, which I'm okay with. Because I think Martellus Bennett's going to be a massive monster this year in fantasy football. So I'll spend up to $8 on him. I think he will more than compensate that kind of value. So I'll bid 8 for him. I'll let this guy take him. I was actually thinking this guy would... See, look, I just did that to myself. So I tried to drive the price up a couple more bucks. Got him for 10. At least I love Martellus Bennett. So that to me is worth it. All right, everyone. That concludes this segment of auction drafting. And so here's the final end result. Man, auction drafts take a while. That was a 3.5 hour draft total. So you can definitely create your own auction draft and reduce the time frame that the bidding can take place. You saw throughout this whole draft, there was like a 1.5 minutes for each bid. You can reduce that timer to like 15 seconds, so you just get the quick rapid fire bidding. It'd cut the draft by like, it would take you probably half an hour to an hour to do an entire draft. So I recommend doing that. A lot of people don't think to adjust that setting. So here's the end result that I ended up with. I got a really good team. I'm pretty excited. I don't really think anyone has a chance of beating me, to be honest with you. So I've got a solid quarterback, really good running backs, an amazing bench. So there you go. All right, if you got any questions, please leave it in the comments below. I'd love to answer your questions. Also, I want to know what your favorite type of draft is. What is your favorite type of draft, and what's your favorite type of league? What are the rules and settings and the crazy customization that you love? Let me know, and maybe in the next episode we'll visit some of those comments and questions. Thanks so much. Until next time, DJ Football out.